եթերում ասպարեզն այսօր հյուրընկալել եմ Ամերիկահայ հասարակական գործիչ, գիտությունների թեկնածու գործարար Արմեն Օրուջանին, ով նաև հանդիսանում է Հայաստանի գիտության և տեխնոլոգիաների հիմնադրամի հիմնադիր տնօրենը։ Մնացեք մեզ հետ։
Բարի երեկո սիրելի բարեկամներ։ Այսօրվա մեր հայտակիրն է Los Angeles County դպրոցներու մասին, հատկապես ամերիկյան դպրոցներու մասին, եւ այսօրվա մեր հյուրն է Scott Schmerelsonը, որ School Board-ի district-ի անդամ է եւ իր district-ի մեջ մեծամասնությունը հայ աշակերտներ են։ So այդ մասին պիտի զրուցենք։ How are you?
I am well. Thank you.
Let's say it in Armenian first and we'll go. Pariegak.
Pariega?
Sure. Scott, in my introduction, I introduced you to our public and said you're a school board member for LAUSD, and just a little bit background about yourself.
Well, I am a lifelong educator. I was 35 years with Los Angeles Unified School District as a Spanish teacher, as a counselor, as an assistant principal, and as a principal, and now as a school board member in the Los Angeles Unified School District.
So you have a long career
35
in
years.
Education.
And 5 years in Philadelphia, 40 total.
40 total. So I won't ask your age. So
Please don't.
I will not on TV. So you've been on the board now, how long?
4 years on the board, yes.
And election is coming?
March the 3rd.
Right, and you're running for re-election.
I'm the incumbent. I'm
You're
running
the
for
incumbent.
re-election.
Is there competition?
There's two others running against me. One of them is a businesswoman, and one of them is a charter school employee.
We're going to talk about the charter school,
of course,
in a different segment. But
sure.
Let's talk about you as an educator, long-term teacher of Spanish language. Did you enjoy teaching all these years?
I love teaching, but my favorite job was being a counselor because I really was able to help my students. Really
so you helped the students?
Oh, my goodness.
What was common issues that the students brought?
Oh, my goodness. I was a counselor at Virgil Middle School, not too far from here on Vermont in the early 80s. And I would make home visits to make sure that my kids were doing okay when they didn't come to school, to check them out, to make sure. And I work with the parents and I work with the kids and encourage them to come to school, get their education, learn English, and be somebody in the future.
I remember living in that part of town in the late 70s when we first came to this country. So that's a very hotbed for immigrants, right?
Absolutely.
Coming to this country from Middle East because of the conflicts, then later on from Armenia when Armenia was part of Soviet Union.
Whatever the conflict was, they came to Virgil. First it was Central Americans, then it was the Vietnamese, and later on Armenians came to Virgil also.
To Virgil,
yeah.
Okay. So you had all of a sudden an influx of Armenian students.
Absolutely.
What was the commonality between them? Did it?
The desire to learn, the desire to become an American, and desire to speak English. And that was very important to enculturate the kids to keep their own language, to keep their own culture, but also become an American.
Because they didn't speak English.
They did not speak English.
And they were trying to learn English.
They were trying. We had classes called ESL, English as a Second Language, and we did our best to teach them. Oh, I taught ESL also. We taught through songs. We used to play songs and give them the sheet music and practice their pronunciation. The kids loved it. The kids loved it.
What was, initially you said students start coming from Iran, right? When the revolution happened in Iran.
Yes.
And after that, from Middle East conflicts.
Yes.
And later on from Armenia itself.
Yes, and we also had Vietnam, and we also had the Central American countries.
Right.
Yes.
Besides those, I'm going to, at least because it's an Armenian show, we're trying to understand a little bit. Do you see any conflict between them, or they were in harmony?
Oh, there was no problem. They were all immigrants together.
Right.
And they all had the same needs and the same expectations. They got along very, very well at Virgil Middle School.
Right.
Very, very well.
So they were new in the country.
That's right.
And they had a good desire to learn English and be part of the society.
And their parents were so supportive of the school. They valued the teacher as if the teacher were God. You had to listen to your teacher and respect your teacher. Something in the 70s that I don't see anymore, that love of education and respect.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, teacher plays a key role
my
in our
goodness.
culture.
Absolutely.
Besides the parents and the clergy, because we're being Christian nation, the school plays a key role. Did you guys have any Armenian language classes, or no? It was all
Not at
English?
Virgil. The great majority was Spanish speaking. I'd say 90%, 95%.
I see.
Yeah. But I'll tell you something.
Tell me.
Sometimes people came and they wanted to tell me, the parents wanted to tell me something, but they didn't speak English. And I knew what they wanted to tell me. They were looking for LeConte Middle School.
LeConte Middle School.
Oh, boy. As soon as I said...
That was down the street from my house.
I said, LeConte. That's what they wanted, and I gave them the address of LeConte because they had many, many more programs for Armenian speakers.
For Armenians, yeah.
LeConte, that was the magic word.
Yeah, I see.
I remember.
What about Hollywood High? I mean,
Hollywood High too. I was a middle school person. I've always been middle school.
Right.
So,
right. Because I went to Hollywood High.
Yes, that was the
which
pattern.
That's the pattern. That wasn't
That's
that
the
far
pattern.
from that area, and there were a ton of Armenians. I mean,
my kids went to Belmont High School.
Belmont High School.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you have a really distinguished career in education, in the school. And now, why at this stage you want to serve on the board?
Well,
You already served 4 years.
I know. I love my kids.
Because your people in your district are going to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Scott, why can't you give a chance to somebody else?
Well, I guess people can take an opportunity, but I don't think they're going to do a better job than I am.
Based on your experience.
Oh my goodness, I've sat in all the seats: the teacher seat, the counselor seat, the vice principal seat, the principal seat. I understand how schools work. I understand the needs of our employees, the children, and their parents. Very important.
What are our key issues facing our schools, public schools?
Money. Do you know that California is the 5th largest economy in the whole world?
Right.
We have the US, we have China, we have Japan, we have Germany, and then California. We are the 5th richest economy in the world, but we don't think our kids in schools deserve what they get. And the amount of money given to the schools is little.
Why that is the case? Our taxes one of the highest in the nation.
The taxes may be highest in the nation, but they don't go to schools. I'll give you an example.
Sure.
New York City pays $30,000 per student in their school system. We pay $17,000. If we had more money coming in to the schools, we would be able to reduce class size, offer art, offer music, offer sports, and make the education a really well-rounded education. I'm fighting for that.
Why is that the legislators allocated only 17,000?
Well,
as opposed to maybe 20,000 or 25,000?
Well, my only answer is they don't value education like they should. And it's up to the public, it's up to me and the parents of my students to rally Sacramento to give fair payments to the school per student.
Because our economy is pretty good now.
5th largest in the world.
Right. What I'm saying is, we have balanced budget. I mean, obviously we have to balance the
Yes,
budget on an
yes.
annual basis. Our taxes are not low. It's one of the highest in the
True.
nation. So the state has money. If anything, has a surplus, I
But
think.
not to the schools.
Not to the schools.
That's the key.
So do you lobby the legislators and the
Absolutely.
governor to give more money to you?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what I do. We go to Sacramento once a year and lobby the legislators, but many times they're not even there. And I have to talk to their aides and assistants. So I find
Why
out.
can't you go the day that they're there?
But I do it even better. I find out when they're in Los Angeles.
Oh, do you go
And
to
I
their
go
office?
to their office and I talk to them one-on-one. And I explain to them how important it is. And if we need.
So what do they say? When you tell them, look,
Oh,
I need more money.
We agree, but I'm not on the education committee. I said, well, you're going to have to convince people that these are our kids and these are our future, and they have to supply more money to our kids.
That's a critical issue.
Absolutely.
It's not lack of money. That's what I'm trying to point out.
The money is there. It's not funneled to the
Funneled
schools.
to the proper
Exactly right.
budgets.
Exactly
let's say,
right.
Allocation.
Exactly right.
Scott, we're going to take a break. So
Sure.
it was almost at the end of our first segment.
Sure, my
So we
pleasure.
went so well. We
Thank
were
you.
so passionate about education,
Thank
about
you.
school,
Thank you.
and our children, because they're our future, and without our future, there's no hope for
I agree.
anything else.
I agree.
So we're going to take a short break, and
Sure.
we're going to come back and discuss a little bit the charter schools,
You
because
got it.
that's something new. We're seeing it more and more,
True.
and there's a shifting of the public's opinion. So I want to discuss that. Սիրելի բարեկամներ, գարշ ցատարմը բիդարնենք եւ պիտի վերադառնանք մեր հայդակրին։ Սիրելի բարեկամներ, այսօրվա մեր հայդակիրն է դպրոցներու մասին, հատկապես public դպրոցներու մասին։ Just before the break, I hinted that we're going to talk a little bit about this whole issue the last several years of it's a kind of competition to our public schools, charter schools. You want to address
Sure. Charter schools are public schools. They're paid with
that? By
public
taxpayer money.
taxpayer money. So, as a school board member, I am also responsible for managing the charter schools in my district to make sure they're operating on an honest and open way. Charter schools are public schools. They are supposed to be innovative. They're supposed to bring something different to the district that the neighborhood public school does not do. And there are many charter schools in my district that do that. They have excellent programs, and I watch to make sure that their programs are innovative and can show our traditional public schools what they're doing. The key.
What is the difference? Just let's point out. So if I'm a parent, I want to send my kid to a public school or a charter school. What's the difference? Where should I draw the line saying, okay, I'm going to send it to a charter school?
Okay, so I think as a parent, I would ask, what programs do you have at the charter school?
That's different from a public
That's
school.
different from a public school. If you have a child with special needs, many times the charter school cannot handle many of the special needs that our special ed kids have because they could be very expensive. They handle many mild to moderate problems. The public school handles everybody. Everybody.
It's a general.
Moderate to severe. And we have in the traditional public schools that they may not have in charter schools, school psychologists, therapists, and things that the charter school cannot afford. So if you're a parent with a special needs kid, you should make sure that your charter school can handle the needs that your special ed child has.
Why there was so much in the last election, so much passion on both sides, on the charter school side and it was.
I'll tell you.
Tell me why.
I'll tell you why.
Why that's the case.
I'll tell you why. When a charter school is established, it's receiving public money. Therefore, the money to the traditional public schools around are being funneled off to this charter school. So we're actually losing money at the traditional public schools when a charter school is established. I don't like when charter schools cluster. They saturate an area which may have 2 public elementary schools, and they'll have 4 charter schools. What is the purpose of having this saturation in this one area where all the schools are being torn apart to get students? And I believe that they should be scattered in different areas where there is a need. In my district, I have an Armenian, English, Ararat, elementary school charter, and it's wonderful. It's on the campus of Irwin Elementary, which is my traditional school. They get along just great. When I go to Irwin, I go to the charter school too.
What is the funding for them? How much they get paid from the state?
$17,000 a student.
Same.
Yes.
It's 17,000 to public schools,
Yes.
17,000
Yes.
to charter.
Yes.
And you're trying to increase that funding.
I am.
How much you want more?
Oh, I want at least as much as New York, 30,000 per
But
student.
you're not going to get it.
I'm going to try. I'm certainly going to try.
What is the legislators are saying to you? we can help you, we can.
Well,
Too much money you're asking?
I'm not on the Legislative Education Committee, and that's not my department, but you have to work together with your fellow assembly people and say, this
But
is...
have you worked with them?
I work with individuals. They have to get together and work together. I target individuals. I target my council people. I tell them how needy we are at the schools and to help us. It's more
In
than
this
one
coming
person.
budget, in this upcoming budget, was there an increase for
Yes,
education?
and people were dancing in the street that the governor gave more money to the schools. It wasn't. I'm happy. I'm not.
How much more he gave?
Oh, I think it was like 17,000. I don't remember how much. I am not. I am not unhappy with the money that the governor gave us, but it certainly was not enough money.
Enough
No,
money.
not enough.
So-
It's a drop in the bucket.
So you need more
Much more
to make our schools better.
to make our schools great. To make our schools great.
So that will be your
That is my goal.
goal.
That is my goal.
Okay, let's talk about the campaign.
Sure.
You said you have two other opponents.
Yeah, I do.
Who are these two other opponents?
One is named Elizabeth Badger, and she is a businesswoman. She's run before. In fact, she ran against me the first time,
And she lost.
and she lost.
Okay.
The other one is a newbie, a new person in the race, and she works for Granada Hills Charter Schools. I believe she wasn't a teacher, but I think she was an organizer at the school for events and things. Very nice lady, Marilyn Koziatek. But I'm the guy with the experience, and I understand. I mean, I'm out all the time at parent meetings and at schools. I have about 109 schools. I'm at my schools all the time.
So you visit your
Oh
schools.
my goodness, at least 3 times. At least 3 times in the time I've been here.
So as part of your job on the board, you go visit various schools, listen
Always.
to their concerns.
Oh, I have a special pattern. I visit the cafeteria manager to find out how is the food service going with the kids. Do they like the food? Are you getting the service that you need? A cafeteria manager from the district, the plant manager. Mr. Plant Manager, this plant is just beautiful. How many people are working here during the day? 1. Just you? You handle this whole school by yourself?
whole campus.
Oh my goodness. That's another thing that funding will bring, more clerical and more classified people. I visit the teachers, of course, in the classroom. I visit the parent center. I visit the principal, the assistant principal, and the individual classrooms.
Is this a paying job?
It's a paid job,
It's a paying job.
absolutely.
So it's not a volunteer type thing, as a position
Certain
on the board.
districts, you know, it's a pittance. Certain districts,
not a
but-
small
But
amount.
LAUSD is so big, and we have so many things to do. It's a paid job.
So it's almost like a full-time job.
It
you
is
have
a
to
full-time.
study the issues, you
Oh,
have
it
to
is a
attend the
full-time
meetings.
job. Not almost. It is.
It is a full-time job. Okay.
It
So I
is.
thought maybe being on the board, you don't have to work on a day-to-day basis,
Oh.
but that's not the case.
I work now more than I did as a principal and a teacher.
Oh, I see. So on a typical day, you spend your time in the schools, in the district, trying to listen to the issues and so forth, right?
Tuesdays are school board meetings downtown.
Once a week.
Yes.
So once a week there's a board meeting.
And the other days, I'm meeting with people at the district, talking about projects they have, about purchasing, about procurement, about different projects that we have. It's, you know, our budget is about $8.5 billion.
Billion
I
dollars,
think
that's
our
what I
budget
thought.
is bigger than the city of Los Angeles, but we have a very, very big budget, and I have to make sure that the money is spent correctly and fairly. I'm kind of the steward of the money, just to make sure that there's not waste.
That $8.5 billion comes from the state.
From the state.
The state of California
It
allocates
includes some
that.
federal money too. It
There's some
includes
matching federal funds.
And the federal is not doing their part. The federal is supposed to give us much, much more, especially for special ed. They're giving us a tiny amount for special ed.
Is
They
there
should be-
any lobbying effort for trying to get
Oh,
more
with
dollars?
Washington, absolutely. The district has people all over in Sacramento and in Washington always lobbying for our schools. But it's not just LA that doesn't receive the money from the federal
other
government.
district as well.
The whole United States. It's another example of people not thinking that the education is as important as it is. And it is, especially for our low-income people. LAUSD is 85% low income. 85%.
Because people, if they have, I guess,
The-
higher money, they go to private schools.
That's right. We have needy kids, we have needy parents, and we have to give them the best education possible.
Getting back to charter schools, so you said pretty much it's run the same way with the public schools. There's not much difference in curriculum, and they have to accept everybody. They cannot say, oh, I'm going to accept only this segment or that segment.
They should not be counseling children out of the charter school because they don't have the programs that they have.
I see.
They should accept everybody.
Everybody, okay. There's no discrimination.
There should not be.
Because there's some public financing.
There
that's
should
why.
not be, right.
Okay,
It's all
I got
public
that.
money.
Public money, okay, I got that. So when we come back, we're going to take another break.
Sure.
When we come back, we'll talk about the campaign.
Sure.
What is your vision for once the public gives you that opportunity to serve for another term? What are your plans?
I hope
What
so.
is your platform?
I hope
and,
so.
and we'll discuss that when we come back. We're
Thank
going to
you.
take a short break, Scott, so we'll
thank
be
you.
right back. Սիրելի պայգամներ, գարշ թաթարմը բիդանենք և բիդի վրատանակ մեր հայդակրին։ Սիրելի պայգամներ, այսօրվա մեր հայդակիրն է Los Angeles County-ի ուսումնական խորհրդի անդամ և Los Angeles County-ի ուսուցիչներու և դպրոցներու մասին ենք։ Just before the break, we said we're going to come back and discuss the election and the campaign. How's the campaign going?
The campaign is going well. I am very confident. People I talk to are always cheering me on. Neighbors, friends, parents, union members, teachers, all of them. They know
They're saying you're doing a good job.
They say I'm doing a good job, and they support me.
Right.
I said, we can't talk about the election at school, but thank you for saying that.
Right. What is your campaign based on? I mean, what are you trying to accomplish if the people in your district will give you that opportunity again?
The best education for our students, the best education for my students, parent involvement and special ed improvement. So I have two committees at the board. We meet at 4 o'clock once a month. I have special ed committee and I have a parent involvement committee. And I want the voice of my parents to be heard. We have committees because the board meetings are so long and the book is this high with things that we have to discuss. So we pull out things to bring back to the board like parent involvement. Parents must be involved. They have to understand what happens at the school. They must understand how to speak to teachers. They must learn what the curriculum is like. Not that they necessarily can help them with their geometry and trigonometry, but to have an idea of what they're learning and how to get intervention and tutoring when their kids need it. The other is special ed, very, very dear to my heart. My goal is to make special ed become such that kids will be mainstreamed into the general education program so they can experience what it's like in a true academic program in Gen Ed and see other kids and let other kids see them. They shouldn't be isolated. Mm-hmm. They should not be isolated.
Absolutely.
They should be integrated.
Integrated.
And that's my goal.
That's
my goal.
What are the common issues the students have? Let's say you've been a teacher for over 30 years.
Oh, their parents, their parents. Parents are telling them what to do. I said, well, that's because they're your parents. Right. Many times we sit down and discuss. Kids have a lot of problems: peer pressure, bullying, how to get along. I have a pet peeve. When I go to a school, I don't want to see a student sitting by himself or herself on the bench during lunchtime. And I want it so that a student will go over to that kid and sit down next to him and say, hey, what's your name? My name's John. What class are you in? And make that kid feel welcome. I don't believe in isolation because it's a very dangerous thing when kids feel isolated at school. So my goal is no child eats alone, no child sits alone.
That's a very good goal.
And my teachers and my principals know that.
Right. Is bullying an issue in the schools? Oh,
bullying has been an issue even when I was in school. It's a little worse today because of the media. My goodness, they bully on Facebook and they bully on texting and things. But we have a very strict rule in our schools that bullying is a no-no. is an absolute no-no. And when kids are caught bullying, they are sent to what we call restorative justice. And you may say, what is restorative justice? Well, that's where kids are made to understand with other kids why you don't do what you're doing. And they make them feel that they need to give back to the kid who they were bullying or intimidating or bothering. It's a great system. Restorative justice, the new word.
Right, right. I mean, the school district, as you said, $8.5 billion.
Yes.
How much more dollars do you need? Can't you get by with $8.5 billion?
Oh my goodness! Oh,
I mean, that's a huge sum of money.
That's not only the cost for the teachers, that's the cost for the custodians. Oh my goodness, the school police, the purchasing. The district has about 60,000 employees. You know, about 33,000 teachers and teacher aides, and it's a very expensive proposition.
Is that some of the dollars to the teachers? I mean, what is the average salary of a teacher?
I think an average salary of a teacher is about $80,000, $90,000 after X number of years. But you have to remember, as a teacher, your day does not end at 3 o'clock. Your day ends when all your papers are marked and the grades are put in. It's constant. You're emailing parents. Parents want to know. Your day does not end at 3 o'clock. Teaching is a very, very hard job.
Hard job, okay.
Yeah, teachers get there early. They do tutoring in the morning, they do tutoring in the afternoon. They have to go to school and earn extra credits. It's not an
continuing
easy job.
education.
Continuing education.
And so it's just a complete package.
Oh my goodness, that was my hardest job, is being a teacher. That's the hardest job I've ever had, is being a teacher. It is very hard.
So you've always been passionate about the school?
I love school.
And teaching. Do
I'm
you have any other
boy.
aspiration besides being a teacher?
Well, I was a Spanish teacher.
Right.
So I'm always interested in many cultures, but I was always interested in the Spanish culture, learning about the different countries and all over.
You speak fluent Spanish?
Sí.
Sí, okay. How about Armenian, no?
Oh, inch and I know, well, not too much, but I make sure that my Armenian parents are taken care of. When I come to a school, I always ask, where is the translator for the parents for Armenian? And we're very lucky to have Armenian translators in our district, because mainly it's Spanish-speaking parents that are having the translation. But my Armenian parents too, and my Korean parents too. Everybody matters.
This is, I mean, such a melting pot, LA. I mean,
oh my goodness.
Look at this, Spanish, Koreans, Armenians, just
Farsi,
yeah.
everything. It's wonderful. It's wonderful, and it's great that kids see everybody. That's what I like about public school. Kids see everybody. Kids with handicaps, kids without handicaps, kids who speak all different languages, rich kids, poor kids, single family parents, kids who live in apartments, kids who live in mansions. It's a melting pot, and it's important to know what's around you. That's why I love public school.
Do you guys measure, maybe high school does, how many of them end up in colleges and universities, or no, that's too early?
No, here's something that's very interesting. You said that. We're very concerned about the number of kids going to college.
Exactly.
I'm concerned about the number of kids finishing college.
Right.
It's very, you can enroll, but you have to follow through with the kids to make sure that they're being successful. The first semester is the hardest semester for college-going kids, the hardest.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get a connection.
If you didn't pass the first semester or even the first year, it's very unlikely you're going to finish. But if you pass that, I think it's a good chance you're going to finish.
I always say, if you were a good student in high school, you'll do well, but they're away from their parents, they're away from their friends, and it's very hard. And I like to make a connection between their school teachers in high school and their school counselor and their first semester in college, a connection. Talk to each other, know where they go. And believe me, my counselors talk to their kids while they're in college to encourage them on.
That's a fantastic
It is. I'm so happy. Let me tell you one more thing. I'm probably the only board member who believes this, but I say it. I believe that every kid who graduates from LA, USD, can go to college. They have all the requirements. But some kids are interested in trades. There is nothing wrong with a student who wants to become an apprentice, plumber, electrician, mechanic, craftsman. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a great thing, and I don't think we should push kids to college if they don't want to go right now or they're not interested. But we do give 2 years of free community college.
So there's a good chance they may go to community college and maybe go into some trades.
Absolutely.
As opposed to going to university, studying to...
The kids say, I love working with my hands. I don't want to work in a building. I want to work outside. I just love being free, and I love crafts. That's where kids really know their math. They finally figure out why they had learned to measure when they become a craftsman. They know.
We're almost at the end of our show.
Oh.
We went through many issues, topics. What's your final thoughts? And why should we elect you in your district?
Why should, well, because I'm the guy who will always fight for your kids, for you, and for all my employees at LAUSD to make sure that everybody gets a fair shake.
That's a very good thoughts. With that, we're going to complete our show.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
And we're going
Thank
to
you.
say thank you for coming. It was really enjoyable, and I had a good time learning about the school districts, and the politics. Շնորհակալ ենք։ Սիրելի բարեկամներ, ասեմ որ մենք փակենք մեր հայտակիրը եւ շնորհակալություն գայտնենք բարոն Սկատին, որ այսօր ներկա եղավ, մեզի պատասխանեց Unified School District-ի մասին եւ իր տեխնացությունը school board-ին, հատկապես school board 3 area-ին, որ ինքը կներկայացնե։ Գիշեր բարի։